Hey everyone, I hope that you all had a great week. I want to talk for a couple minutes about what's gone on in DC this week. Most people know that President Biden announced that he would be withdrawing the remainder of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. Now, I have long believed that it is well past time for the United States of America to withdraw our troops from Afghanistan. I supported President Trump's proposal to withdraw the troops from Afghanistan in 2020, and I agree with President Biden's decision to withdraw those troops as well. One of the things that I quite often discuss with people, because the immediate counterpoint is, are we setting America up for the next 9/11? Is there an increased risk as it relates to terrorism? And the answer is there is an increased risk to terrorism or those that develop terrorist tactics growing throughout Afghanistan without our presence there. That doesn't mean that it's not up to the Afghan locals to work to stem the tide of that. The United States of America cannot be there forever. And one of the things that I like to point out often when I have this conversation is the change that's gone on in the world between the year 2000 and today. When I first started in the military and today, our ability to go out there and track financial intelligence, geospatial intelligence, human intelligence, and every other form of intelligence that we use is totally different today than it was at the beginning of this war. When you look at the ability for the United States of America to put down a piece of ordnance within a couple feet of directly where we want it, anywhere in the globe, without having troops on the ground, all of those things play into the fact that we need to change our strategy and our continual presence in Afghanistan as it's going to relate to counterterrorism operations. Now, I want to go on to some of the business that we've worked on in Congress this week. This week I introduced the National Estuaries and Acidification Research Act, or NEAR Act as it's known. The bipartisan piece of legislation, it aims to fight coastal acidification while helping out waterways like the St. Lucie, the Indian River Lagoon, the Lake Worth Lagoon, our Florida reefs, and all other areas that are affected by ocean acidification. The NEAR Act, it aims to create better understanding of coastal acidification so that we can better manage and mitigate its effects on our nation's estuaries and other bodies of water that we care about so much, especially as Floridians. The bottom line is that this legislation is critical. It will go a long way towards protecting marine life and promoting healthier communities, which is what we want to see in our beautiful state. Now this week, House Democrats, they also brought forward what they call the Paycheck Fairness Protection Act, which they try to sell to the American people as offering additional protection for workers. Now, I support equal pay for equal work on all fronts, but the fact is this legislation does little to protect the wages and paychecks of American workers. It does far more to line the plaintiffs' trial lawyers' pockets. The bill, it radically limits and likely eliminates business owners' ability to defend claims, and it requires businesses to submit these burdensome, intrusive, and unnecessary collections of information about what staff is paid within private business. A massive government overreach that also violates the privacy of the business's employees. Even more importantly, current law already makes it illegal to pay different wages to employees of the opposite sex for equal work, or otherwise discriminate on the basis of race or color or national origin or religion or sex. Now, for these reasons, I voted against that bill because it was a bad piece of legislation. Beyond that, we voted on the Workplace Violence Prevention for Healthcare and Social Service Workers Act. That's a long one. It required small businesses to train their workforce on how to avoid workplace violence, which includes, and their definition of this is very important, any act or threat of action that would result in physical injury, psychological trauma, or stress. Now, here's the really bad thing about this. If you're a small business owner, say you have an oil change shop, hair salon, a small restaurant owner, a maintenance shop in some kind of way, whatever it might be, the federal government is saying to you, and this is the place that they're trying to get to, that you would have to give your employees workplace training on how to report torture or sex trafficking or domestic violence instead of working. You would have to take your time to pay them, to train them, as the federal government does in many instances quarterly, So quarterly, you might have to do this. That would be the point that they wanted to get to. Instead of your people being out on the road driving or working in whatever that capacity is that the business does. So instead of employees doing their jobs, the federal government would mandate that you provide training for your employees regardless of what they do. Now, in short, it's just another way the federal government is burdening small business, making them less productive, making them less able to go out there and compete with their counterparts worldwide. Now, we were able to accomplish some good things in Washington this week. The House passed the Protecting Seniors from Emergency Scams and Fraud Scam Reduction Act. Financial exploitation of America's seniors is so widespread that people have lost homes, retirement savings, and so much more. And sadly, these crimes, they often go unreported. These bills, they help improve efforts to prevent these disasters and protect our nation's seniors by directing the Federal Trade Commission to address scams targeting seniors during the coronavirus pandemic to help victims get compensation and make recommendations on how to prevent these scams moving forward. Now, as always, I like to end my videos with this. It is an honor to represent you in Congress. I look forward to seeing you all around town. You all take care. I wish you the best.